What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for the season finale of Cartel Cruise. So we're at the season 2 finale. They gave us a double hour of finale, and they sort of wrapped some things up. But they did a good job of leaving. They just like last season. They did a good job of sort of leaving a door or two open, so that can have us holding on for season 3. So we start this episode off with seeing Michael and Marie talking about how happy they are about the launch with everything with Pure Blanco, and the weed situation. And they started reminiscing on old times, like you remember when we first got together, and we were living in this small cramped apartment, and because Michael was saying, hey, you met me when I was at my lowest, and Marie was like, and I knew who he was when I met him. I loved him anyway. And so it was definitely a great um it was a moment with them. And so, they were just talking about how great things are, how they're back on their feet, they're doing great things. And, really the business is just getting, getting more and more and more lucrative, more and more successful. Marie said, you know what, I think now's the time for me to start my own business. And Michael was like, nope. He said, go for it. He said, do it. You know what I mean? Like now is the time, strike while the iron is hot. He said, what can I do to help? Marie said, I'm doing this myself. Like you've inspired me that I can do this myself. And so we'll see later on what she's gonna get into. She's gonna, I think, focus not I think I know. I think that's when she said it though, that she's gonna focus on her lipstick line. And she's gonna start with well, I'll get there. We'll get there. So also then Marie says, now what about my ring? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we done did all of this. We've been riding together. We got a child. What's good? Like, hello. And Michael was saying, look, we got to do that when the time is right. Um, and Marie was kind of giving him the side eye a little bit, but she was cool with it. She was cool with it. So then we see Nicole. I see Nicole, her brother, and her best friend, the girl from Philly that Kat snuck a few weeks ago. Nicole is saying, look, I'm ready to get out of the nightlife. Like I've been doing this for 10 years. It's been real lucrative. It's been real fun, but I'm ready to grow up. I'm ready to mature, and I really need to start doing some other things with my life. Staying up all night and partying, getting paid to party, getting paid to be a bottle girl, and all these other things that she did to host parties and stuff like that. She said getting, sleeping all, staying up till 5 in the morning, sleeping all night. She said it's old. And I'm ready to do some other things. And so, you know what? Now I'm ready to have a retirement party. Like it's time for me to. I'm ready to retire. And of course, there were some jokes about who retires at 26 or whatever. But depending on what you're retiring from, you might retire that early. You retiring from the nightlife. Hey. But she said she wants to have a party, and her brother's, there, whatever. She said, but I don't want no drama. Like, I really want this to be nice. I really want this to go off nice, but I just don't want any drama for my party. And so, they get to talking and planning and talking about who they want to invite to make sure that there's no mess and everything like that. So, Magic and Eddie. Magic is like, look, things are going great, but I'm thinking that, now that we're doing the whole thing with the weed and with our profiles becoming more and more out there with us being, he didn't say this, but I'm sure being on the show and everything, he said, I'm a little nervous about my son Googling me, and the first thing he sees is my mugshot. And he said he's older now, and I think maybe it is time for me to sit down and talk to him and explain to him, Dad made a mistake. This is what he did, but this is what he's doing now, and he's, not doing those things anymore. And we see later on in the episode, because I'm not going to drag this out. We see later on in the episode where he talks to Michael about it. And Michael tells him, Michael was like, look, man, I think your son can handle it. I think that because he's worried about his son looking at him differently and not loving him or losing respect for him or seeing him differently. He said, he's still at the age, and I didn't think about this until Magic said it. He said, my son is at the age of villains and heroes. And right now he sees me as his hero. But if he finds out that I broke the law and I went to jail, I just don't want to become a villain in his eyes. And I was like, that's deep. You know what I mean? And Michael told him, he said, look, I think your son can handle it. He loves you, and nothing's ever going to change that. You've been a part of his life. He knows who you are. He knows your character. He loves you. He said, but if you're not ready to tell him, then don't. If you're not ready to have that conversation, then don't. He said, but understand that at any point in time, he can get that information from somebody else. So, I mean, Michael had a really honest conversation with him. You know what I mean? It was a very honest conversation. So, we get over here to Nicole. Now, what happened with Nicole and the basketball players? Exactly what I thought was going to happen, which I think all of us thought was going to happen with Nicole and the basketball player. She called up old boy. He's being very evasive. He ain't really talking to her. She invited him to the party. He telling her he don't think she can make it. And she was like, look, if you really wanted to come, you would come. You ain't really trying to be here. You know, you playing games. Like, just tell me, like, forget about these cameras. Just tell me, either we good or we not. Are we together? Are we not? What's going on with us? And he was like really evasive about it. The phone call kept dropping, but I think the last time, I don't think the phone call dropped. I think he dropped it. And later on, because again, I'm not dragging this out. Later on in the episode, she was talking to, I want to say she was talking to Stephanie, and she done found out that the man is cheated. And I don't like to use the word cheating because at the beginning of the season, I don't remember them actually ever putting a label on their relationship. So he can't be cheating if he was never your man, right? Like, if y'all never put a label on it and said, you are my boyfriend, I am your girlfriend, could he really, can he cheat? I think that, and I said this a couple of episodes back. You knew you weren't his woman because he wasn't flying you out nowhere. If you were his girlfriend and y'all were exclusive, you'd be in Denver, you'd be in Vegas, he would be flying you places, you'd be flying to meet him places. If the only time y'all saw each other is when he put you in his schedule to come to Miami, you was his Miami girl. Now, what you found out was he had an Atlanta girl, he had a Vegas girl, he had a Denver girl, he had an LA girl. You were his Miami girl. You never went anywhere with him outside of Miami. You were his Miami girl. And no, he didn't care about getting on social media with you and being seen with you because he had that same understanding with all of his other women that, look, you my LA girl. When I'm in LA, it's me and you, boo. But when I'm not here, out of sight, out of mind. So you were cool until you started talking about baby. And I told you that. So did your brother. So did Stephanie. So did Kat. Everybody told you you've only been messing with this dude a couple of months. Saying that you're ready to have a child by him, that ain't a good look. He's not, no. And so what you did was you scared him off. And now he done moved on to the next Miami girl. He probably already got your replacement, boo. And I hate it because I like you, Nicole. Now, last season, Nicole, I ain't really see it for you too much. But I actually enjoyed you this season. And I actually enjoyed, I think you are sincere with saying, I'm ready to do something different. I'm ready to, do grown folk stuff. I'm ready to be on my grown woman ish. You know what I mean? Like, I feel you on that. I absolutely feel you on that. But he just wasn't the one, boo. And I know it hurts and it's easy to say, but he wasn't the one. And I don't think he was a bad guy because I don't think he ever committed to you. I think in your mind, you convinced yourself that it was more than what it was. But I don't remember him ever saying we are exclusively together. But I'm only going by what they showed us on the screen, honey. So the ladies catch up. We see Marie, we see Betty, and we see Diana. And they hadn't really talked since since they were in San Diego and how things went left. So they were sort of talking and getting caught up. And we find out that Marie has not heard from Stephanie. Stephanie has not called to apologize. She hasn't called to talk to Marie. She hasn't gotten into anything with Marie to explain why, what, when, where, who about her putting her hands on Marie. And of course, Betty is like, those, I can't believe those girls came at me like that. I've already reached out to the doctor. I've said what I was going to do. And again, I don't think, I said it in my last review, y'all. I don't really feel like, now, again, I give Stephanie when Stephanie, but in that case, I don't disagree with Stephanie. Now, when the situation escalated, I'm not defending that. But I think when Stephanie was first trying to talk to her, she wasn't raising her voice, she wasn't yelling. I don't have a problem with what Stephanie said at the beginning. But okay, maybe I'm alone. But neither here nor there, it did escalate and it did turn into something bigger. And I don't support Stephanie putting her hands on Marie, and she absolutely owed Marie an apology. Okay. Um, but Marie is telling them that she's ready to start her own business, that she's going to be starting, she's going to be doing a lipstick line. She's going to start with her signature color of red, which is funny because in this scene she didn't have red on, but she does wear red a lot. That is her signature color. She does have those red lips a lot. And she said, so I want to do a photo shoot with all of you ladies. And because of Stephanie and because of her temper and because she hasn't even bothered to call and apologize to me, I'm not, Stephanie can't be a part of it. And of course, Diana and Betty didn't have no problems with it, honey, because Betty and Diana wasn't seeing it for Stephanie no way. So they didn't have no problems with her not being invited to the photo shoot. So Nicole and Stephanie end up having a conversation, and I already told you guys kind of what Nicole's side of the conversation was. But Stephanie's side of the conversation was basically she doesn't understand why everybody gets mad at her. That she feels like all she's doing is expressing her feelings. And to your credit, Nicole, you tried to tell her without her getting mad at you. You tried to tell her, look, you do a lot. You are real extra sometimes. And it's not just you giving your opinion. You yell, you raise your voice, you get forceful. You act like your opinion is the only opinion, and that if people don't agree with you, then they're wrong. Like all of that, people don't understand the resolution of that, you know. And she did try to explain to Stephanie, but Stephanie, Stephanie sees things the way Stephanie sees things. And in her mind, she feels like she's right, everybody else is wrong, and she doesn't understand why people came at her. And she even said, like, Nicole even said, but you put your hands on Marie. Like, you put her hands around her neck. Like, yeah, she cussed at you and she told you to, do some things to her, but you kind of came at her first. And Stephanie just can never see what she does to escalate a situation. She just never sees what she does to it. So next we have Nicole's party. The party looked really nice. Nicole looked really nice. Everybody was there. Everybody was at the party. And Stephanie was there, but she was on her side. Stephanie stayed on her side with her friend while the other ladies were on their side. And Stephanie's friend, the one who they stayed with in San Diego, um, came over to try to talk to Betty. And she really didn't want to hear what Betty had to say. I mean, Betty really didn't want to hear what she had to say. Like, Betty was like, no. That's when Betty was saying, I've already reached out to the doctor. And Betty was still kind of on her, I don't know why I don't know why you doubted me. I don't know why you came at me like that. I don't know why. And I feel like she was it Isabella? What's her name? I feel like she really was trying to just make nice, squash the whole thing and move on. I really think she was. But Betty wasn't here for it. Betty got some stuff with her too. Betty ain't no innocent in all of this, okay? Betty be doing the most too, y'all. So let's not act like Betty is all innocent and sweet, and the rest of and nobody and it's always somebody else. Let's not do that. So um Marie and Stephanie ended up talking. Stephanie, here's my problem. When you do something to someone and you're going to make an apology, lead with the apology. You don't have to do a big run up to the apology. Lead with the apology. And see, Stephanie wanted to give this big long explanation about how things got the way they got and why she felt the way she felt and why she. No, no, no. There's no explanation as to why you put your hands around Marie's throat, because Marie was not hitting you. Marie was not aggressively walking up on you. Yeah, y'all were arguing and y'all were yelling at each other, but Marie didn't she didn't throw nothing at you. She didn't do anything to precipitate you putting your hands on her. So the way you should have started that conversation off was, Maria, I'm so sorry I put my hands on you. But let me explain how I felt in that moment. You understand what I'm saying? So by you, and Marie was like, so you're not going to apologize? So you're not going to apologize. And then here you go, getting mad. Well, let me explain. Let me explain. Marie was like, but, but are you going to apologize? Like, you could explain later. I need my apology now. Well, you're not listening. And so then she started talking about Betty. So here come Betty. Somebody say my name. See, again, Betty, you didn't have nothing to do with that conversation. So, of course, your name is going to come up because the whole argument that Stephanie and Marie had you in the middle of it. So of course your name is in it, but that didn't mean that they invited you to come and be a part of that whole conversation. They didn't invite you to come over there. They didn't invite you to say nothing, and it didn't have anything to do with you. It had nothing to do with you. But here come Betty. Then next thing you know, y'all know what happened next. Stephanie and Betty get to fighting because Stephanie was like, I wasn't talking to you. Betty was like, but I heard my name. Keep my name out your mouth. And you know, Stephanie already don't see it for you, Betty. So it ain't take a whole lot. It didn't. It did not take a whole lot for Stephanie to want to 2 to the head, 3 to the body. So next thing you know, here they go fighting. Betty tried to pick up a table and throw it. You see, that is the epitome of I know ain't nothing gonna happen to me. That is the epitome of ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'ma just act the biggest fool as I want to act because security gonna stop anything from happening, and I can just look real extra. Because let's be clear, if security wasn't there and cameras wasn't rolling, you wasn't picking up no table and throwing it at nobody at no club. Let's be clear, okay? But Stephanie was throwing stuff, she was throwing stuff, and at the end of the day, the person that got hurt the most was Nicole. Nicole was really in her feelings. Nicole was really upset because she was like, look, this was my party. And I specifically asked Stephanie, please, whatever issues you have, whatever beef you have, can you please not resolve it at my party? Can you please keep this civil? And she said, I felt real disrespected that Stephanie and Betty couldn't do that for me. We'll get back to them. Now, we have this whole emotional scene. It was real extra, but I ain't mad. You know what, Cartel crew? I ain't even mad at y'all. It was real extra, but I'm not even mad at y'all. We have this whole scene with Michael walking along the beach. He had his mother's ring. He said this is one of the last pieces of jewelry that he was able to save from his mom. Um, and he's going through this whole thing about what him and Maria have been through and how much she's held him down and all of that, and how he wants to make his mom proud, and he really feels like now that his mom is looking down on him and she's smiling. And he said, Maria is the one. Like, I love this woman to death. I know that she is the one, and I'm going to propose to her with my mother's ring. It was like he was asking for his mother's permission, and it was like he got it. You know what I mean? It was real extra, y'all, but it was cute. It was really, really cute. Um, but once again, we got to see a glimpse of, you know, it's easy to think of these people as characters, but once again, we see a moment where we understand that that was his mother. Like, we can feel however we feel about Griselda, but that was his mom. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we have a moment where we see Kat talking to her son, and what I kind of got from this moment was Kat kind of wants to end things with Eddie because she was talking to her son and she says to him, well, how would you like daddy living here? And she was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I like daddy living here. And she said, well, how would you feel if daddy didn't live here anymore, if he went back to wherever he was living before? I remember he was at the halfway house and he couldn't stay there, he was living somewhere else. And he was like, I'd be sad or what have you. And he said, Daddy loves you. And she said, how do you know Daddy loves you? He said, because Daddy told me. Now, that put a big old smile on Kat's face, right? Now, that did put a big old smile on Kat's face. But the fact that Kat is even thinking about asking him to leave, I just find that to be interesting. Because, again, I think Kat wants to be open to a relationship, but I think she's scared of being hurt. And if you're not ready, it's okay, Kat. It's okay to not be ready, babe. It is okay to not be ready. All right. So Marie and Stephanie meet up. Marie says, look, I've been friends with Stephanie too long to throw our friendship away. I don't appreciate how things went down in San Diego, but I'm willing to hear her out. I want to hear what she has to say. I want her to tell me how she feels so I can tell her how I feel. and I want us to talk it out. And they did. Y'all know they were able to talk it out. Stephanie did apologize. And then Marie was telling her, well, here's what I find interesting. I'm sorry, not Marie, Stephanie was feeling some kind of way about not being included in the photo shoot. And I think she was more upset about not being included in the photo shoot than she was concerned about making up her friendship with Marie. That's how I took it. Because I felt like she didn't really care a whole lot until she realized she was being excluded from something like a photo shoot. But neither here nor there, Marie ended up inviting her to the photo shoot. It's okay. Um, we see a scene with Diana and her sister. Oh Lord, not her sister. Diana and her daughter. So basically, um, what we found out was we're meeting with we. Oh, I'm sorry, thought I hit the mute button. She took her daughter with her to meet with the lawyer. Why can't she took her daughter with her to meet with the lawyer so that her daughter could understand and hear what was really going on with her father's case. She said, she has been there through all of it. She's been the most affected because she's the oldest. She understands the most, and so it's only fair and right that she get to hear what's going on with her son's case. With her father's case. Um, Stephanie meets up with her vocal coach Betty Wright. And if y'all know anything about Betty Wright, y'all know Betty Wright is a straight no chaser. She's gonna give it to you however raw. And she had a good conversation with her, and she told her, "Look, you are very talented, but don't get in your own way. You are a very talented woman, but you really need to figure out where this anger is coming from, and you really need to process it, and you really need to figure it out. You don't want it to get in your own way and impede your further success." So I think Stephanie heard it. Stephanie got emotional, and I think Stephanie heard it. Sometimes it's not always the messenger. I mean, it's not the message, but it's the messenger. It has to come from the right person, because you can hear the same thing from 20 people, but it'll be that 21st person that says something to you that makes you go, "Yeah, you're right. You're right." Okay. The photo shoot. We are at the photo shoot. All the ladies are there, honey. Stephanie ends up showing up, and of course, Betty and Diana are giving Stephanie the side eye, but the rest of the ladies are happy to see her, including Kat. The photo shoot is beautiful. Everybody had on white. Everybody had on the red lipstick. Everybody looked different because these are five very different women. Marie had on a sequenced gown, so she stood out, but not too much. You know what I mean? It didn't clash. They did a really good job. All of the ladies did a really good job with the photo shoot. Um, and then they did a group shot, which you thought it was gonna be a big deal, but it wasn't. They ended up doing a really good job with the group shot. And um, Stephanie said that she knows she owes Nicole an apology. She said, but the last time I tried to apologize, it did not go well. So I don't want to ruin Marie's photo shoot. I'm going to wait until afterwards so I can apologize. But I do know I owe Nicole an apology. But again, I say to you, Stephanie, the apology wasn't the issue. It was the fact that you were trying to explain first, apologize later. But whatever. I hope they were able to apologize and work it out. And just move on as friends, because I do think that they have built a real friendship. Last year we know what they went through, but I do believe they have built a real friendship. Um, Last but not least, Michael takes Marie out, and they go to this restaurant that must be an exclusive restaurant down in Miami. I've been to Miami a lot of times, but I don't. Pardon my ignorance. I don't know this place. But it looked like a very nice restaurant, a very expensive restaurant. Marie was like, "Yeah, I've been here once. I took a picture out front one time." Um, and Michael was like, "Yeah, I used to eat here every day. Me and we ate dinner here every day." And he, was saying, "Look, I lived in those high rises right over there." He said, "I remember my brother crashing his Lamborghini, and the next day going out and buying the exact same car." He said, "My brother was 17, and I just knew that that's what I wanted to be." He said, "You have been with me through it all. Like, you were with me at my lowest of my low. I've never been that low before, but you were there and you loved me anyway. I didn't love me without having all of that." And he said, "I don't want to know what my life would be like without you." He said, "You have been my saving grace." And of course, y'all know Maria's a big old teddy bear. She play hard, but Maria's a big old teddy bear, y'all. And she's bawling and boo-hooing. Michael got the bawling and boo-hooing. He gets down on one knee. He proposes to her and tells her this was my mom's ring, which of course made it even more eventful, and they are now engaged. So I say they leave a door open because look, let's plan a wedding, honey. Let's have a special cartel crew the wedding episode. Let's get it. The other door they left open was we see Nicole taking a pregnancy test. Child, Nicole ain't pregnant. Anyway, go look at her Instagram. She ain't pregnant. But okay. Moving on, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. It was a great season. Brava, brava, cartel crew. And I will see y'all next time.